I'm Wesley Howard, Chairman of our Newnan Presbyterian Church Bicentennial Committee. And on behalf of our committee, I want to thank all of you for taking the time to hear about the plans and proposals that we have to help our church launch its third century. Amazingly, we're about to celebrate our second century as a congregation and over 100 years in this sanctuary. The plans that you will hear about today primarily address the repairs that we must make to address the serious damage caused by the 2021 tornado. At the same time, we feel this is a perfect time to make improvements to our sanctuary that will enhance our worship experience to be at the highest level. This includes access, audio, comfort, music, and visual. It's really important to note that any improvements will be designed around preserving our traditions, and no decisions will be made without congregational consensus. Over the next few minutes, you will hear our committee members briefly outline their plans and proposals. 1, Jacob Story on the need for greater accessibility. Mia Paris on the overall design concepts. Ashley Vasconcells on the needs of our music programs. Tom Monahan on needed enhancements to our audio experience. John Lambert on repairs to the bell tower. Mark Sage on the refurbishments of our stained glass windows. Fortunately, we already have the significant funds available, but we need the support of the entire congregation. Please prayerfully consider your ability to support this important project with your financial support and your time. Finally, this will be the largest project our church has undertaken in many decades, and our intent is that it will serve our congregation into its third century. That said, we want to be as transparent as possible, so with any questions that you have, please feel free to reach out to me or any member of our committee. Thanks for all you do for our church.
I'm Ashley Vasconcells. I've been a member of this church for 20 years. My parents have also been members of this church for 30 years, and so we've had this beautiful journey with Newnan Presbyterian, watching it grow and change over those years. Part of that has been the music program that I have been able to become very involved in. I play the violin and I get to play the beautiful music that Cliff writes. And for that, we just have this amazing support from our church family. Unfortunately, at this time, the way our church is set up is not doing what is best for the music to get out into the church. The acoustics, the setup, the arrangement of everyone. And even today, as I sat in church, I noticed this is not what's best for our church family to get everything they need out of the music. If you look over here, this is where the choir is at this point, and they're literally shoved into the corner because they no longer fit up here in the front of the church. And with that, you don't have all of the sound radiating out into the church building sanctuary. You have these people who have these gifts that they give every Sunday and every Wednesday when they rehearse, and they're not able to share it fully with the congregation to the best of their ability. One of the questions I had when I was asked to do this interview testimony was, what is it going to look like? How much is this going to change this church? This church means a lot to me and my family, and for those of us that have been here for so long. I walk into those doors and I see my mom, who is no longer with us, and think of the memories that we have in these certain spots within the church. But then I also think about the future and what it might be like with my children and their children someday, and how we can make it better for them. And so I specifically asked, what is this going to look like? How is this going to physically change the room? And I had a long talk with David, and it was great. He was able to explain everything to me. Any concerns that I had, he was able to address. And so I first would say, if you have any questions, reach out, talk to somebody about it, get the facts before you make a decision. But then also, I'd love to explain some of the things that were explained to me. For instance, this whole area here would become, coming out from the back door over there by the session room, would come out and be one full stage. This area here would be eliminated, and then all of the wood paneling would be pushed back against the wall. So visually, it will almost look the same. Over here, we'd have better access for anybody who was not able to access the area. And again, it would all be open in one fluid stage. That's important when you're a musician. That's important when you're playing with an ensemble. We have our beautiful bells, and they need special area that they need to be set up. Our choir, we would love a full quartet or a small orchestra to come in and play, and we can't do that in the setup that's in here now. These are all gifts of people that want to give to this church that we can't actually access at this point.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jacob Story. When I was asked to make this presentation, I was glad to do it for several reasons. But first and foremost, I think it is very important for our church to make this a welcoming and loving church. And right now, our chancel is not that accommodative to those in wheelchairs, walking canes, or with walkers. And I think it would be very good for us to entertain the idea that we make this so that everyone is accessible. And if they want to participate in the service, they have the opportunity to do that. I know from my own perspective that I would like to participate by doing the liturgy from time to time. But I'm hesitant to do that because with the current configuration of the chancel, I'm not the most stable person right now, but I do get up there, but I'm very, very careful. If you've watched me, I'm very careful not to fall or trip because I don't want to do anything that will cause a commotion and interrupt the service, the flow of the service. Right now, we have a plan in place that will allow us to have those accommodative features. It will allow people with wheelchairs, whether in the choir, the handbell, musicians that we have coming in, they will be able to access the chancel. I know also that it makes our church more welcoming. And I know when these improvements are made, we will have people be able to come from Sunday school classes into the sanctuary. There will be ramps, there will be rails, there will be access for any and everyone. I know in the past you've seen me as clerk of the session introduce people for baptism, babies for baptism, new members coming in, but I've done it from the floor level because it's easier for me to do that because if I feel rather shaky that day, I'm not going to attempt to get on the chancel because I don't want to fall. So I ask you, when you're looking at this new change and this new campaign that we have coming on for 2028, that you look at it from the perspective that everyone that wants to be included in the service will have that opportunity regardless of their mobility. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm John Lambert, and I have been playing the bells at Newnan Presbyterian Church for a number of years, and as you can see, we're in the bell tower, and this is the console that I generally play the bells at. I took over from Mr. Theron Welch, who was a real saint of a man who played these bells for about 60 years and was actually the first person to ever play these bells. And today, we're not able to play the bells because there are some bolts that are sheared off of a couple of the bells that keep these handles from coming back up automatically. You have to pull them up by hand now, which isn't a big problem in playing these bells, but I'm afraid that if we keep going on, that some of the other bolts are going to shear off too, and then we'll have a bunch of limp handles here that you'll have to pull up every time you try to play the bells. So probably need an expert to fix it, and that's pretty much all I know about this problem that we have. Thank you.
My name is Mark Sage. I'm the property elder for NPC. We're going to talk today about the stained glass windows. These windows are an essential feature of our church. They're historic. These are the original stained glass windows installed in 1928. They've had 100 years of use and abuse, of tornadoes and storms, of UV rays. It's time for them to be reconditioned before they deteriorate anymore. These windows, when you drive by from the outside, your eyes are drawn to these beautiful stained glass windows. And when you're inside here, your eyes are drawn to these beautiful stained glass windows, and when the light is improved, once we get done with the reconditioning, they'll be even more beautiful than they are now. We'll be using the same window panes that are here now, so those will remain original. There are one or two that are cracked or broken in a couple of places. It's one here and a crack here. Those we'll be either replacing the panes with similar glass or we recondition these and repair these. I can also tell you that after the reconditioning is complete, we will have 30% more light coming through these windows And I can also tell you that as a member of the choir, we frequently, when we practice here, have to use book lights because even in the afternoon, we don't have enough light coming in to read our music books when we practice. So that's going to be an added benefit that's not obvious right now, but you will notice a 30% increase in the brightness that comes through these windows when we're done.
Hi, I'm Mia Paris. I'm a deacon here at Newnan Presbyterian Church. I'm on the Bicentennial Committee. I'm an interior designer by trade. I have a shop in town called The Grove. It's an upscale home store. So aesthetics are very important to me. And that is what I've been asked to advise with on the committee, which I'm honored to be a part of. I have been a member of this church officially for about 3 years now, and I love the sanctuary. I think it's traditional and beautiful and almost just right the way it is, but there's a lot of things that have happened over the years, as we know, and some forced neglect because of the lawsuit, which we are now in a position to fix. And it's an opportunity and it's a challenge all at the same time. Everything does cost a lot of money, but on the other hand, there's the opportunity to make changes when you're already under construction far more cost effectively than if you were just to make that change by itself. So this is an opportunity to do a lot of things all at once while we're fixing the must fixes. For example, the lighting fixtures, we are not suggesting getting rid of them. I would like to redeploy them to other areas of the building where they'll be more practical. They are beautiful and they can replace some existing fluorescent fixtures which are not adding much value or joy to anybody. The sanctuary is too large for light fixtures of this size, so we need something larger that's going to illuminate better and be a larger scale for the space and more appropriate scale for the space. We're obviously going to have to fix the damaged plaster. That's an opportunity for paint. There's a lot of repair that has to be done to the paint all throughout the building. That I don't think anyone's going to want anything crazy, materially different than what we have now, but it is a chance to make a change if we so desire. And I personally am going to advocate for subtle changes because I think the sanctuary is lovely, but we can bring things up to the 21st century and hopefully give longevity for the next couple hundred years for those to come after us. While we're under construction, it makes sense to redo the wood floors. It makes sense to refinish the pews. We are hopefully going to be able to do cushions for the pews to add to everybody's comfort in some sort of material that's cleanable. So it's going to have a practicality to it as well as a comfort element. The carpet probably hasn't been touched in decades. That's another opportunity for a subtle but profound improvement to the sanctuary. The chancel is a big issue, it sounds like, for a lot of people. I think it's beautiful the way it is with the millwork. I think the new chancel is also going to have similar millwork in the end. It's just going to be a more functional shape for those who are using the space, and also much safer for those with accessibility issues. So I would implore people to have an open mind about what the chancel is going to look like. It's going to make sense in the space. It's going to look like it was always here. And as a designer, that's always my goal for the new space or the remodeled space to look like it always was there and not some add-on eyesore. This is a traditional space. It's going to remain a traditional space. It's just going to be refreshed and cleaner and more enjoyable for everybody.
Hello, I'm Tom Monahan. I'm a longtime member of the church, and I am on the Bicentennial Committee to help the planning and for the refurbishing of our sanctuary. My particular area is with some of the audio and video components of this remodeling. We have a wonderful acoustic environment in our sanctuary, but still we need a little help with microphones so that you can hear the word, you can hear the music, and a lot of this goes on behind the scenes, which is how we like to keep it. We have upgraded a little bit on our audio equipment, but we're still in the analog era with some of our components. And we need to upgrade to digital quality, improve the speakers, in all parts of the sanctuary so that you can hear the word evenly and spoken carefully. But also it goes into the broadcast part for the people who can't enjoy being in person in the sanctuary to hear all the music and hear the words. We like to have microphones available, and we have there. Sometimes I'm repositioning microphones for different parts of the service. We want those microphones to be of great quality but almost invisible, and we have the capacity to expand what we can do. We'll improve the sound. New speakers, the speakers that we have are probably 25 years old. They're working, but we can make an improvement, and this is a time to go for it. We have dreams also of maybe adding some audio microphones or something outside. What if we could, when we do a baptism out there in the garden area, we could actually broadcast that by having good audio and visual capabilities out there. So there's many avenues for improvement. We don't want to become a big screen, crazy environment. We want all these audio and video components to be invisible, but enhance the worship service. That's our goal.
I want to thank you again for taking the time to hear our plans and proposals about the project that we feel like will establish our legacy going into the 3rd century. Again, I'd like you to prayerfully consider your support that you can lend us both financially and in your time. Thanks again for all you do for our church.